Okay, now we are going to discuss how we will build type 1 dimension with joining a hub and with a single satellite. As we already mentioned that dimension tables are formed based on joining of a hub and satellite table. So in this example, we have a hub customer that stores business key values for each customer and connected single satellite that include name, city and phone descriptive information of business key. So we are going to look at the latest information of phone detail from the relevant satellite. So look at the SQL statement we need for this access of data. First, we find the maximum load date information for each business key. So the join of business keys between inner and outer query inside of the inner query enable that the logic will repeat for each business key. Then we join back this maximum date information with satellite and hub table. So that query helps us we find the latest record for each specific business key. And this script shows how we will extract data from hub and satellite in order to load dimension table. For example, we use hub hash key as primary key, and we also made changes on naming of load date and record source columns before loading dimension tables. But in here, please stop the video a couple of minutes and have a look at the SQL statement in detail. I will also add the reference pages that really help me to understand the logic, and they have very clear explanations from the Data Vault experts, which I am also following actively, and I will also recommend you that you keep an eye on them. So now we have a dimension table and also have a short version of sample data that shows the information inside it. As you see here, we have two records for the Jim Black in the satellite table, but we only loaded the latest information to dimension table. But there are some disadvantages to store dimensions into physical table, because the latest version of business key will change based on each update. So for example, if Jim Black would get a new phone number, then we are going to get a new latest version. So either you need to truncate the dimension table and reload the maximum version again for each load, or you might use the views in order to design dimension tables. As mentioned, if there is not any critical performance consideration, views will be helpful in here. While you run the query, it will always bring the latest version of business key. And another important point is, we use the load date column in order to find maximum date information. But it is not a business date, it is a system generated information which shows when the data is loaded. And it is also possible that load date and the date information when Tim changed his phone number would be different. Therefore, you should always trust the business date and should align which date column gave you the accurate information about the updates in the source system. Only to make it understandable and easy, we just use the load date column in order to find the latest version in our example. So now we have created our first type 1 dimension table based on a hub and single satellite integration.